Hi honeys, we're back for another episode of Girl Do It For You. If you're watching this on YouTube again, sorry for the chaos. I have both my dogs up here on the couch with me. We are back at home this week, but they didn't want to sit by themselves apparently, and so they're on the couch with me, but it's fine. Sorry if it's very echoey in here. Let me actually close the door. It's been a day, you guys. Like, it's raining, it's muggy, it's hot, my dogs are being annoying, she's running around like crazy, knocking over stuff, and my house is roasting right now, so I had to have the doors open for some airflow as I'm sitting here with a blanket on. But anyways, let's get into today's episode. Okay, I readjusted, the dogs got off the couch, but it's fine. You know what, this is the podcast is all about real life and things that literally happen in real life, and this is just a real life type of day. Dogs being annoying, the weather being annoying, it's 1,000 degrees outside. I get so agitated when it's hot, like I can't, it's just so aggravating, but I think we're good now. So now let's get into the episode. So with going to therapy, I've kind of been trying to learn how to like work on myself and manage how I react to things, because a lot of the times I used to shut down or blow up. Like, it was one or the other. It was either going to be this massive fight, we were going to hash it out, it was going to be ugly, it was going to be messy, and no one was going to end happy, and we was probably never going to talk to each other for a very long time, or if ever again. I've gotten better, I think. But I then used to take the route of just shutting down completely and being like, fine, you want to be that way? Be that way. Which I'm still kind of in the middle of both. Let me explain. So in arguments, I used to shut down and be very like, that's it, fine, like we're arguing, or just like, you know, you get in the middle of something and I would just not say how I truly felt, or I wouldn't explain myself, or I would just like, you know what, I don't want to argue, whatever. And I used to think it was because I was being the mature one. I don't want to argue with people. But I've come to realise, with the help of therapy, that it's because I used to be told a lot to don't say that. You know, I've been shut up a lot. I've been told you can't say stuff like that. Actually, your words cut people like a knife. Like, your words are very hurtful. Words have meanings, and you're ruthless with them, and they could cut through somebody. And just, I've been told all the time to don't say anything, keep your mouth shut, be quiet, don't say that, don't do this, don't speak like that. And I'm like, okay. So I shut up. I didn't say things, I let shit just roll over. I bit my tongue, I was very quiet, and I was like, alright, fine. Then I was kind of like given into trouble for not saying stuff, because, you know, I was always taught if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything. And since I was always told to shut up and don't say this, don't say that, I just stopped talking to certain people because, well, I had nothing nice to say and I don't think what happened was okay, so I don't want to talk to that person. Then I'm told, you're being disrespectful, that's rude, you can't do that. And I'm like, what do you people want from me? Like, being put in the situation of like just not whoa, the thunder. Just not expecting certain things to be put, like, to words. Being put in certain situations that you never thought you would have to be in is the worst feeling. And then not knowing how to handle it because you haven't had a chance to process it, because people are just pushing and pushing and pushing. And then guess what? You're going to implode. Especially when you've been told to be quiet for so long. And I feel like you can't fault a person for that. Like, I was always told that, and so I did. And then now that was a problem. And I'm like, I cannot give you guys anything else. This is it. You know, like, pick one, let me hash it out with somebody, or tell me to shut up, and there's no in between. Like, because there would be a conversation, and sometimes you just need to go back and forth, but like not yelling at each other. Like, have a conversation with the person and be able to understand both sides of the argument. And I think that is where I am. Like, I am trying to not bite my tongue. I'm trying to express how I feel without it causing an argument. And like, I'll be quiet, or not quiet, I'm sorry, I'll be calm, I'll keep myself collected, I will say how I feel, but do you ever feel like the person you're talking to just doesn't want to hear it? and like you're the villain no matter what, and they just want to keep talking over you and yelling. And then the minute you say, okay, fine, I'm not talking to you, it's, oh, what, you can't talk to me, this, that, and the other. And they're just so angry and hostile, and you're like, oh my God, like, I can't get through to you. That's currently the situation I'm in. Like, I'm in a situation where I can't talk to these people. And then when I don't, like, when people want me to talk to them, I don't, because it's gonna blow up, and then I get told I'm being disrespectful and all of this stuff. And people are spreading lies about me, and you know what? That's fine. That's absolutely fine. You want to spread lies, you want to say all of this stuff, you want to make me be the bad person, that's fine. Because you're the villain in somebody's story somewhere. But it is what it is. People are going to pick their characters of you. You're going to be the bad person. They're going to be God. And it's just like, okay. Or you could see that maybe we both fucked up. I can admit that. I can admit that I did wrong. But we're never going to get anywhere because I'm not taking the entire blame for something that I had nothing to do with or start. And so it's really difficult when you try to communicate with someone like, look, I feel like this because of XYZ, and they just like flip, and I'm like, I can't handle this. And so I'm trying to work through how to talk to people and maybe not seem aggressive, because that's what I keep getting told, is that I'm the aggressive one. So I'm like, okay, let me work through it. Let me try. And then I try, and then apparently it's not good enough, and it goes, and it's like, it's so confusing, and I'm like, I can't keep doing this. Like, and then I go to my therapist and I'm like, what did I do? And I will tell her verbatim, I'll show her whatever it is. And she's like, that's not a you thing. And I'm like, okay, but like everyone's making it out to be. How do I? And she's like, why are you the one here trying to fix everyone's problems? And I was like, because if I don't know what's going to happen. And no matter what I do, I'm the bad one. I'm the wrong one. So I'm trying to protect my peace. I'm trying to live my happy life. I'm trying to be unbothered and just do what I have to do to just be happy. And if that isn't talking to you, okay, I don't care. I'm not going to upset myself or push a boundary because someone doesn't like it. You don't get to push my boundaries. Like, I set boundaries in place and these people were aware of them and they still push them. And that's so frustrating. And when I did that episode on having boundaries and that you have to be strong enough to keep them, I tried to be strong enough to keep them. I kept it, but everyone got mad at me. And I took it so personally. And I like got myself really upset. And I was like, this isn't fair. Like, I'm doing this for me. And then I realized that's exactly it. I'm doing it for me. You pushed my boundary and then you didn't like the reaction you got. And that's not my fault anymore. You can't fault me for setting a boundary to protect myself and my peace. And then get upset that when you push it, you don't get the reaction that you like. That's not my fault. You don't get to treat me like that. You don't get to do that, you know? Like, you don't get to push a person's boundary like that. You make them uncomfortable in that space. That's not okay. And I sat with this for a minute, and I really did. I felt awful, and then I was like, no, wait a minute. This is for me. I did this to protect myself so that I'm good and I'm in a good headspace to handle all of this, because life doesn't just throw one thing at you. It's like, here's 15, juggle it. And so I got myself to a headspace and I had my boundaries and I was good. And then they got pushed and then I wasn't good. And I'm kind of getting myself back to, no, like, think about what your therapist said. Think about why you have the boundary and get this situated. And of course, coincidentally enough, I had to skip therapy last week because of Leo and everything like that, which, by the way, he is doing so much better. He's home. All the prayers are working. All of his issues are starting to, go down. Everything's coming back to normal. There's just a few minor things that we're working with him, but thank you guys so much for the prayers. I'm so sorry I forgot to mention that until now. He is doing so much better, and he's home, and he's with his sister and his parents, and he is a happy boy. But, so I had to skip therapy last week because of all of that. And of course, all this shit went batshit crazy, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. My therapist is like, you ready for a session? And I'm like, do you have more than an hour available? Because this is going to be a while. And it's just like, I shouldn't even, that's not fair. But as the person that's trying to heal myself and protect my own peace and get myself good, I know that this was done for me. And that's just one of the things that I feel like when you have a boundary that somebody pushes, you really need to remind yourself, you are not the bad person. That boundary was in place to protect yourself, respect you, protect your peace. And that was it. If you're not being nasty, if you're not like out here yelling at people, disrespecting people left and right, if it's just a boundary of one simple thing and someone pushes it, please don't feel bad for it. Don't do what I did. Do not let people push your boundaries like that. Sometimes it's out of your control, like the way mine was handled. But then I was just like, no, that's my boundary. And I've communicated that with you and that's it. Like, and you don't even have to explain yourself. It is what it is. And you don't have to acknowledge when people are rude or nasty or anything, because you don't owe people that explanation. It's your life and you are trying to fix what you need to fix, and you need to handle it however you need to handle it. It's that simple. Don't let people try and make you feel bad for going to therapy, for setting up boundaries, for protecting your peace, giving yourself the healing and the love that you deserve. If that hurts you, I'm sorry. But this is what I need for me. This is what's good for me and myself. Like, for so long, I have put so much effort into other people and making sure everybody else is fine. And it's just like, no. I've bit my tongue for so long. I have walked on eggshells. I have done what I've had to do. And I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to protect my peace. Have a great day. Like, that's just it. And therapy is really helping me with that, because I used to be very aggressive and I used to be very angry and I used to come at people like crazy. But I feel like I had gotten a good control on it, but I was just being quiet. I just wasn't saying stuff. I was bitching to myself at home, and then I was angry all of the time and I couldn't figure out why. And I was just being like, everything was just being pushed down. And then one day I just exploded. And I went to therapy because I was like, what is happening? And lo and behold, all those feelings, everything that I was told to suppress and shut up and blah, 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 all came out. And now I know how to protect myself from people like that. And I know how to respond correctly. We are still working on things as expected. But like, don't let people take your happiness or your peace or hurt you. They don't deserve that. Why do they get the last laugh? Why do they get to do that to you and just constantly get on you for stuff? They shouldn't have access to you like that. If that's the type of person that is like your friend, a family friend, whoever it is, they shouldn't be able to hurt you like that. No one, I don't care if it's family, if it's not, they should not be able to talk to you like that, and they shouldn't be able to hurt you that way. They're not even supposed to. But you don't know people half the time, and you can't trust anybody. I've come to find out I can trust like 3 people and that's it. Most people I've met are so fake, and then it comes out and then I say something and then lo and behold, we're mad. Like, every time. One of the biggest things with how I react to things is like, it's been really interesting to learn navigating my relationship. And what I mean by that is, obviously me and my relationship, no. Me and my fiancé were raised very differently. I wasn't even raised in this country for till I was 12. So like half my life has been spent in a different country. So it's like, we were raised very differently. We were obviously raised by different people. We were brought up in different households. He has a brother. I have a sister. So you're just surrounded by different things. You go to different schools. You hang out with the different groups. All of the stuff. So we were raised very differently. Our parents don't think the same. None of that. They get along, but they're raised differently. They're just completely normal. But trying to navigate things together has been one of, I feel like, the toughest things we've had to do, because we handle situations differently. Fighting, an argument, annoyance, like all of that, we take it differently. We react very differently. Like, when I would shut down, he wouldn't. And he would want to talk it out and be like, what's going on? It's like, come on, we're going to talk about this. And I'm like, no, we're not. Nope, done. And then I would be pissed off about it 2 or 3 days later. And he's like, no. We're not lingering it. We're not doing this. We're going to talk it out. We're going to figure it out. And we can move on from it. And I'm honestly really grateful for him for that, because I feel like that has also helped me with therapy to understand, like, you need to talk stuff out. And it was also because I was scared to talk stuff out, because in the past it always led to a huge fight, a huge blow up. You couldn't have a conversation without the fear of it ending badly. That was just how I was raised. He wasn't raised like that. But like I said, so we were both raised very differently. And so like how we argue was different. Like in my past, it was always a huge fight. That's not how his was. And so learning that I could actually go to him with a problem, or, okay, you did that really pissed me off. Actually, I don't like that. Okay, let's talk about it. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to hold it in. You don't have to shut down. You can explain yourself and we'll correct it. We'll work through it. We'll do what we have to do. And so trying to go through all of that, and then with me starting therapy and trying to understand why I react the way I do to things, like, it puts a lot of stress on our relationship, but I think it's really good because you understand and you process your feelings better. Now we have great communication, still working on it always. We're not in therapy together or anything like that. Like, I go myself, but it has benefited both of us in our relationship to grow together and to understand each other just better and be able to communicate, because that's such a big thing. Like, you have to communicate, and I never really used to care for that. Like, I used to be like, no, I'm not talking about it, and he's like, no, we are, and I'm like, okay. But it's just like having to understand someone new and having to realize that, like, you can talk to people. It doesn't have to be a massive blow up fight. Nobody has to scream. There doesn't have to be violence. There doesn't have to be any of that. It can be a simple conversation. Even if you were sitting there like saying, you made me feel awful because you did this, they don't have to be mad about that. And in my past, that was always a problem. Like, if I brought something up like that, it was like off the charts, ridiculous, massive fights, screaming, yelling, like fighting, like physically. And it's just like, that is not normal. But I thought it was, because to me that was my normal. But it coming to find out, it's so not normal. And I just think that working through that with him has just helped me, like, in so many aspects of life, understand how to talk to people and how to care for other people's feelings. Also, when someone comes to me and is like, look, you made me feel like shit because you did this and put me in this situation, and I'm able now to kind of take an outside look and be like, oh, you're right, I am so sorry. I didn't see it from your point of view, because you don't. You never see it from their point of view. It's only yours. Like, how selfish is that? But that just is, it is what it is. And before, you couldn't talk to me either. Like, I would get defensive. But in the past, I would say in the past 3-4 years, even without therapy, I have gotten better about that. Because it's something I wanted to work on. I never wanted to grow up and always be angry and always hold on to stuff that doesn't matter. Hold a grudge, or like just be so angry at everything. And I never wanted to grow up like that and have a marriage like that, or have kids and raise them to like that level of like, we're fighting, like you can't communicate, you can't talk. Like, no, we're going to be able to communicate. You don't have to hold on to things. If you feel upset, say it. It's also the same as like holding grudges to people. And I kind of still do. It's kind of still a problem that I have, but it's just like, I think I've mentioned this before, that you don't have to forgive and forget to move on. You don't. I think forgive and forgetness is bullshit. I think that's absolute bullshit. That I have to forgive you for what you did that was so shitty for me to move on? Absolutely not. I don't think people deserve forgiveness sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes people do things that are unforgivable. And that's totally okay. And I'm not going to forget you did something. That's not me either. I'm going to remember it in the back of my mind, but I'll let it go. And I'll move on for myself. And I'll be happy. Because you don't bother me that much. You'll fester me, you'll bother me, but you're not going to get to me that much that I can't be happy in my own life. Like, you're not doing that. So, you don't have to forgive and forget to move on. I think that's bullshit. You want to move on, you can move on. You can let it go. You don't have to forgive them. You don't have to forget that they did that, because you did what you did and it messed me up. How it messed me up, and I lose trust in people, and it was how I reacted to situations, and now I don't like you and I don't want to forgive you for something, and that's fine. I don't have to. I'll let it go and I'll move on about it and I'll be happy with my life. Don't ever talk to me though. Don't try to be my friend, because obviously what you did was that unforgivable, that's it. That's just it. And you can't ever fault somebody for not wanting to forgive you. You can ask for forgiveness, but also if you've never asked for forgiveness, don't expect it to be given. You can ask for forgiveness and people can deny you. Say, no, I don't think that's forgivable. And that is 100% fine. 100%. There are things that I used to think were unforgivable, and in recent years I've been like, you know what? I'm gonna let it go. I don't forgive you for what you did. What you did up was really messed up, but I don't care about it anymore. I don't care about you as a person. I don't care that that's what you did. That's okay. Because honestly, if that's how you treat somebody, that shows more on your character than it does mine. And you can go and you can spread your lies and you can say whatever you want to say about me, but I know the truth because I know the real me. And my friends and my family that know me and actually care about me and actually know who I am as a person will understand that if you were to go to them and tell them the lie that you've made up in your head, they're going to be like, that is not her character at all. That's not her. Because they know me. And they're going to know that you're lying. Because you can't make up a false narrative of someone and expect everyone to believe it. You can lie to your friends, you can lie to your family, you can lie to whoever you need to lie to make yourself sleep better at night. But at the end of the day, I know the truth, and I know that I can sleep peacefully knowing that I have never done something so bad like that. You know, like I know I'm letting go of it. I'm going to move on. I don't forgive you. That's your problem. You have to live with that and I'll be fine. And that's just that at the end of the day. If you don't ask for forgiveness, you're not going to get it. Don't assume it's just there. And if you ask and I say no, that's just it. I'm entitled to that. I'm entitled to have my feelings. I'm entitled to feel how I want, and I'm entitled to react by just not acknowledging your existence. And that's just how it is. And I don't feel bad for that anymore. Because I'm protecting myself and my peace at the end of the day, and I want to be happy. I am starting this new chapter of my life. I'm getting married in 4 months, and we are starting our life together, and that is what I care about, and that is what I focus on. That's what I want. I want that to be happy. I love my family dearly, but I think the fact that you get to create your own family is beautiful. And like I'm healing and I'm getting through stuff, and we are creating our own little happy family, and it's just going to be us. And that's really all I care about. That's it. Because that's what makes me happy. Not being disrespected, not being yelled at, not any of that by anybody. I have Matthew, I have my family that I have that know me and that love me and that truly care for me. And I love them back and I care for them too. And I have my friends that's my little circle. And that's all I care about. I care about who cares about me. If you're going to disrespect me, I won't disrespect you back. I used to do that. We just won't talk. We just won't be friends. And that's fine. I don't need to be your friend. I don't need to be your acquaintance. I don't need to be anything to you. If you're going to disrespect me, we don't need to have anything. But if you care for me, I'm going to care for you. You love me, I'm going to love you. Family, friends, all of my friends I consider family. Like, that's how close I am. Because that is just how much I care. And so you're not going to disrespect me like that. We have our little thing, and this is what makes me happy. Don't let people take your light away. Don't let people dull it. Don't dim yourself for anybody. Be you. And if people piss you off, say goodbye. Don't hang on to them. They're obviously not good for you, and they obviously don't care about you. You'll be okay. I promise. You have yourself. That's what you know. You have yourself, and you are a good person. I promise. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Sorry we got a little deep there and I got upset, but I hope you enjoyed another episode. Bye, honeys.